So how many of us believe that giving and donating to charity, specifically the third world countries, is a good thing? Well, we've all heard that saying, you give a man a fish for a day, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, you teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. No, we've been giving and giving for years to impoverished countries. And although we have the same phases of poverty still exist, and they've remained consistent throughout the years. According to Giving USA, $253 billion was donated to charities in the US alone in 2014. In 2015, it rose to $273 billion. Now, why has this cycle of poverty continued throughout the years? I want to turn your attention to the word paternalism. Paternalism is defined by Webster's dictionary as a person or group that protects others by giving them what they need, but in doing so, they limit their rights. Now, paternalism has limited impoverished countries through the use of excessive giving to the extent where these countries are not self-sufficient. These large companies are the ones perpetuating this never-ending cycle, and through paternalism, they're essentially limited in their choices. Now, today I want to go over why poverty is so prevalent. I want to go over how these companies are perpetuating poverty. I want to go over how you can help to end this cycle. So I want to start by talking about giving. Not giving in the sense where you receive things on Christmas or your birthdays, but giving to the extent where you're essentially dependent on someone else. Now, I want you to imagine that you're born into a wealthy family. Your whole life you've been catered to, so you have no sense of being able to feed yourself, no sense of being able to take care of yourself, no sense of being able to make your own money. Your whole life you've been encouraged to be lazy, essentially. Well, that's what we're doing to a lot of these countries. According to the NACLA, 80% of daily services in Haiti are provided by nonprofit government organizations. Now, this creates an ability for the people of the country to believe that they can't be self-reliant on themselves. So why do we give? Well, I want to go over some misconceptions about poverty. Impoverished people are not lazy. Impoverished people are not stupid. And impoverished people are definitely not helpless people. According to the National Geographic, Africa is very abundant in resources from metals and precious minerals, and therefore mining has become extremely prevalent, and it's become a hotspot for tourism. So why do we have this perception of impoverished countries that they're helpless people? Well, the media contributes a large part. We hear all these stories about these celebrities going in and essentially saving these children, rescuing them from these horrible worlds that they're in. However, it's not necessarily helping. And I want to go more into that, and to do so, I'm going to go more into Haiti, which sometimes it's referred to jokingly as a republic of NGOs or nonprofit government organizations. And that's because, according to the NACLA, there are over 10,000 NGOs within Haiti alone. That's more NGOs per capita than anywhere else in the world. Now, how are these NGOs essentially damaging the economy? Well, I want to talk about a story given by anthropologist Timothy Schwartz, who lived in Haiti for over 20 years. And he gives an example of rice subsidies. So, rice was subsidized in America by the government, and the tariffs were established as well. Inevitably, a surplus of rice was produced. And what did they do with the surplus? They sold it to the NGOs, and these NGOs brought it into Haiti. Well, that may sound great to feed, a bunch of people who did not have food, but a lot of the rice farmers in Haiti were then put out of jobs because of the fact that they couldn't compete with the free rice that was being given. I want to give another example of a company known as NERSA. NERSA was an innovative company in Haiti, started by a Haitian resident. He created solar panel streetlights during or after the earthquake because of the lack of electricity, and he's doing well for himself. He was able to sustain his own life and employ over 60 people. But after the NGO started coming in and bringing in solar panels, bringing in a bunch of these streetlights, he was no longer able to compete anymore. And therefore he was forced to downsize and forced to be dependent on the typical ways of life where they're forced to be fed by the NGOs. So if these NGOs are so bad, why are they so prevalent throughout Haiti? Why haven't they stopped? Is it a simple lack of self-awareness, or is it something else? I want to go into more of the business of NGOs and how these organizations are profiting. An NGO in Haiti, according to a documentary called Poverty Incorporated, this NGO can earn up to $200,000. Just one of the typical workers in Haiti. Now imagine how much the companies are making if a worker is making $200,000. Well, World Vision, according to their financial highlights of 2012, received over $175 million in government grants. According to the Washington Post, Geomonics, an international development firm, received over $500 million. Now, despite all this money being put in, nothing is changing. Everything has remained consistent throughout the years. So we need to ask ourselves, who's really profiting from this? Is it the people we're trying to help, or the people that are supposed to be helping? So I want to go into more of how you can stop and prevent this endless cycle. Well, before you give, I'd recommend doing some research on the companies, specifically what their plan of action is. Understand what they're doing and understand that if they're giving in order to create jobs or just giving for the sake of giving to feel better about themselves. Really know what you're getting to. And also, there's a petition you can sign for the World Vision, where they've been in Haiti for over 6 years now. After the earthquake happened in 2010, and they're still not gone. They're trying to fix a lot of problems that don't need to be fixed anymore, such as giving them food. And so you can sign a petition for basically a set amount of time that these NGOs can stay within the country. But to conclude, I want you to remember to not trust the misconceptions that you always hear about impoverished countries. I want you to not give out of pity, but give in order to support and help people to be independent. Most of all, do your research and understand that sometimes giving isn't always helpful. Giving with the intention of helping is not that great when it's not actually helping anyone. And I just want to leave you with an idea that good intentions are not necessarily enough. It's the right actions that will determine salvation.